you died and came back to life.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's interesting. I had no consciousness, nothing during those 5 days when I was out. My heart had stopped for 45 minutes. I had a way cool experience at my daughter's wedding. I got to meet the nurse who put hands on my chest and was doing compressions. Very cheerful, emotional experience. And I said, "You saved my life." And I said, "No, you saved my life. You saved my life. What you do matters." So, I mean, I can remember calling my wife, and she didn't pick up, and I left a voicemail and said, "Hey, it's me. I guess I'm back. I guess I never left. Love you. Bye." And she had that saved on her phone till she got a new phone, and she re-upped her new phone. She lost that voice message. She was just crushed. But to go back to your original question, no, I have no recall of that. I just know that I went unconscious getting out of the back ambulance, and I woke up 5 days later in a small ICU room with a nurse standing over me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So leading up to those 5 days, talk about like when you went into the hospital. Was it a procedure that you went through?
No, what it was is it was the day after Christmas. I got to use the bathroom, and I passed out, fell down right there in the kitchen, broke my nose. And my wife called my son to come over and help get me up, and they took me to the hospital. And when I was in the hospital, they determined that I was really sick. I had septic. My blood sugars were way off. My blood pressure was falling, and they sent for an ambulance. Well, our community has very few ambulance services, and so I waited for 20 hours at that hospital to be transferred down to the big hospital, 86th Street, St. Vincent's. So what precipitated my going to the hospital was falling, breaking my nose, and had I not, I probably would have passed away in my own home. So yeah, they took me and got me in the hospital and did some basic services and realized it was out of their skill set, so they transferred me down to Indy.
Mm. And when did you go into that, like, almost, would you say, a comatose state? Kind of
I just when I got out of the back of the ambulance, I don't remember getting checked in the hospital. I don't remember being hooked up to anything. And then I remember waking up. I woke up and I was told it was 5 days later. It could have been 10 minutes later. I didn't even know that it was 5 days. And again, my mental faculties were pretty foggy at that point as far as grasping what had gone on. And even to this day, I don't think I'm the same guy as I was through. I think there's been some brain trauma that happened in my brain that I'm not as engaged, and I'm not as talkative, I'm not as vocal. My wife will remind me of that occasion, which I'm sorry, it's just not there. I don't know how to get it back. I am what I am, and you know, part of it is it's just not there right now. So this is my dog Peyton, by the way. So say hi, buddy.
Who's Peyton named after?
Peyton is named after Walter Payton. Let's be clear, not Peyton Manning, but Walter Payton, Chicago Bears. Right, buddy?
Even though you're from Indiana.
That's right, Chicago Bears fan.
Duh Bears.
Well, before there were the Colts or the Bengals, there were the St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Bears. So that was the closest team you could cheer for.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So did you, when you kind of passed out and then woke up, you had no idea what happened, and when you heard the news that you had like died and come back, what was going through your mind?
I'm not sure that sunk in until probably after I came home after the rehab hospital that I had passed away, because everybody had to tell me all this stuff because I had no idea. I had no idea what transpired. My wife spent the night in my brother's house in Carmel instead of coming back to Kokomo so she could be closer. She told me that every day there was a call from the nurse, then there was a call every evening from the doctor with an update, and then she would get the kids on the call so they could hear, then they would process it later. Yeah, it was just, you know, it was interesting hearing the stories after the fact of being called in, and the chaplain allowing them to go up and breaking protocol because of COVID, and letting them get in the hospital and say goodbye to me. And it was really interesting that this chaplain, who one of the guys I mentors, it was his boss, and she told my family, they're going down the elevator, and they said, "You want to say goodbye to our dad?" And the chaplain goes, "You know, we have the best doctors in the world at this hospital, but we serve an even greater doctor." And she just spoke faith into my family that God's not through with this man yet. Don't count him out yet. So that was a pretty cool experience.
Wow.
She spoke that faith about, hey, you know, he ain't done yet. Don't give up. Don't be counting his chickens for the hat. So yeah, that's pretty neat.
So did you feel like really sore when you like finally came to?
No, I mean, my legs didn't work. I had, when I talked about sitting in the chair and looking at the window, talking to my family, I had to drag myself out of my bed and kind of flop into the chair. I mean, I couldn't function. I had physical therapy, occupational therapy, I had swallow therapy, I had speech therapy, I had everything. So no, I didn't feel sore. I didn't feel much anything.
Did you like have like a major lifestyle change after you had died? Like and going back to regular day
No,
life?
I think that I mean I've lost a ton of weight. I've lost a bunch of weight. I've kept it off, which is okay. But I mean I weigh less now than when I got married 47 years ago. No, one of the symptoms of having radiation on your neck and throat and mouth is it kills your taste buds. Also kills your salivary glands. So I'll wake up at nighttime with I often sleep with my mouth open, breathe through my mouth, and my tongue will be stuck to the roof of my mouth. Food, I can taste like the first 2 bites of something, I can't taste it.
Really?
So for me, what I tell people is the idea of eating is good, the execution is not real positive. Because very, very few things taste. I mean, it's just, it's really hard to eat because there's just no, and this is talking to a guy who used to weigh 350 pounds and was a chronic overeater, had bariatric surgery, lost 150, but I have lost over half my body mass from when I weighed 350. I weigh more than half now, actually.
So as far as the fragility of life and like how you've learned to value life post this death, what has changed?
I've always been one in favor of living vibrantly and living fully engaged, so I don't think that's changed a lot. I want people to know how I feel. I don't take that for granted. I want people to know that I love them. Every time I text you, I always put love you at the end, because I do. I want you to know that. That's what matters to me. So, I mean, I want people to know how I feel about them. I want them to know what they mean to me. I don't want to wait for a near-death experience or a coffin for people to say the things they want to say. And I think that's something that, Christ said, okay, you might have life and have it to the full. That's about leaning into who you are and what you are and the difference you make and how you feel toward people and what you want to be known for and being missional in life and purposeful in life versus just letting life pass you by and being a cog in the machine. No, I want to step out and be known for what really matters, and that's my God. So
in the last episode you had mentioned about if someone is going through cancer or even really just any sickness that's major, like it's okay to just show up, say something, even if it's awkward.
Absolutely.
And you kind of have adopted that same lifestyle after post this experience. You are also like, silence, not about it. We need to say that we love.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that philosophic is a big deal. So let people let them know how you feel about them. Let them know what they mean to you. I mean, we live in such a world of connectivity, and most of the connections we have are pseudo. And I think there's a time and a place for genuine connection, for genuine engagement, for genuine love, and for people to be able to say, hey, this is how I feel about you, and this is what you mean to me, and that's what life's all about. That's what really, really, really matters. So yeah,
that's cool. So did you see that like any relationships in your life kind of blossomed after, like post this experience?
I wouldn't say blossom, but it was cool. My daughter, who's got a real gift of writing, to read her posts on Facebook were very significant. How she felt about her dad, that was very, and my other kids too. But her writing was really, really impactful.
With your experience as a pastor, have you walked through with people through the death experience?
Oh yeah.
What was that like?
I remember as a guy in my first church, I was a young youth pastor, and I had covenanted with God to fast for him until he got healed. Well, he died. And it's like, hey, God, I was fasting for this guy to be saved and to be healed. What happened? And that was a good wrestle. That was a big wrestle. I didn't quite understand that. I as a pastor, I felt the most challenging ministry in my office I ever had perform were funerals. I felt they were incredibly, incredibly challenging. Death is a mystery to us. In America, we don't do death. We send people away into old folks' homes to die, so we don't see them die. you know, these are all my opinions, of course, but I think that you know, you're guaranteed to do two things. The old American saying goes, die and pay taxes. So I mean, yeah, that's part of it, and walking through this, it's a tough gig.
Hey, thanks again for tuning in for another episode of At the Table. I had a lot of fun sitting down with Rob, and I hope that this was impactful and maybe even meaningful for you. If you know of anybody that you would like me to interview, drop it in the comment section. I would love to make that happen. I've got a huge list of awesome people that I want to interview, and if you don't want to miss out on the action, on the interviews of the people that we're going to sit at the table with, hit the subscribe button. You'll get notified whenever we have another interview that comes out. And don't forget, go and sit at the table with the people that you love.